Hello people, I'm Ginny Metherell, I'm a 4th generation witch and I'm here today with a video all about that marvellous Wheel of the Year festival that the Wiccans call Lunasa, otherwise known as Lammas. And we're going to look at a bit of history into it and how we should celebrate this wonderful summer feast. So Lunasa is the Wiccan festival, which is celebrated on the 1st of August. It is sometimes referred to as Lammas. Now Lammas is actually just the Christian term, and they are really two separate things. So first of all, I'm just going to tell you about the Lammas first of all, and then we'll delve into the Lunasa. Lammas is the alternative name to the word Lunasa, and it is the Christian festival. For this happens anytime from now until the middle of August, and it is when the grain is first cut. And as soon as you cut your grain, some of it would be ground into flour and made into bread. That bread would then be taken into the churches by our ancients and blessed by their priests. So that is Lammas, and in fact the word is a contraction of loaf mass. So it's not really anything to do with Lunasa. Lunasa is the Wiccan Wheel of the Year festival. It falls halfway between Beltane and Mabon, which is the spring and the autumn equinoxes, and it is celebrated on the 1st of August each year. It is a festival of grain, and it is the first of the 2 harvest festivals. Now, of course, the Wiccans took this festival from the grain festival of our ancient, and the Christians obviously had taken it over from previous festivals of the pagan. Grain was the most important crop for our ancestors for pretty much ever. Without grain, you would most likely starve over the winter. The grain harvest has been celebrated from time immemorial. There was never a set date for Lammas. Lammas happened whenever the grain was first cut, and it could be any time from now until the middle of August. It just depended. Of course, they wanted it to be not before the 31st of July, because otherwise the grain wouldn't last the season. They needed it to be harvested in August, our ancients. Lunasa is the Wiccan festival in celebration of grain and the god Lu. Now Lu was a Celtic god who's known for fertility and craft. So he's a perfect god for a crafty witch to worship. So Lunasa is a feast, and it's celebrated, as we said, on the 1st of August. So on this date, it is the perfect time to gather your friends and family, have a barbecue, but of course the centrepiece to this feast is going to be grain, and therefore baking cakes and baking bread and all those sort of grain products. Most people can make a cake, so I'm not going to patronise you by showing you my bad baking skills. However, I am going to say Lunasa, of course, on the 1st of August should be celebrated with a feast, with wine, with grape, with grain. So although I am going to serve, of course, bread at my feast, I haven't made it myself because I'm rubbish at baking bread. I don't have the right hands or any patience. I mean, neither of those things really work with me. I'm just not a baker. Some people, I think, have witchy magic in their hands that makes their loaves light and fresh and soft, and mine are hard and dense and ghastly. So therefore I thought I wouldn't show you how to make rubbish bread. However, what I can show you to do is, of course, a corn dolly. Corn dollies are one of my favourite pagan symbols. Corn dollies were made from the last piece of wheat to be cut from a field. That's traditionally so. And they would take that wheat, turn it into a corn dolly, and leave it as an offering to the grain gods, or to Lu. And they're going to be perfect at my Lunasa feast. Throughout my childhood, where I grew up, every single field which had corn growing in it or barley had a corn dolly at its gate. these corn dollies we were allowed to pick up and look at. Some were incredibly intricate, sewn with ribbons, and they were made by the women of the village in order to placate the ancient gods. And this is only in the 1980s. We were taught how to make corn dollies at my primary school. It was considered such a big deal in that community where we grew up. Although, of course, so as much as we were hoiked off to church, we were also given the pagan ways. And it was one of the great things that we learned. Corn dollies were sacred. So I'm going to teach you how to make a corn dolly, and therefore you can use this to decorate your Lunasa feast. So I've got my 5, and I'm going to line up the heads, and I'm going to tie just around the base there. I'm using florist wire because I've got it. I actually find it really useful for all sorts of crafts, so recommend a bit of florist wire should you have some. It's not very expensive either, it's only a couple of pounds or so. Okay, so that's the bottom of your corn dolly. Now I've got some rather scraggy roots here, so I'm just going to snip those off all at the right length. It's not a very big corn dolly, this one. Next, you want to fan out your stalks into a fan. Take the first one, bend it at right angles over the one next door to it. Twist, bend at right angles over the one next door to it. Bend at right angles over the one next door to it. Where have I got to? So you keep twisting and you'll see bend and bend. So all I'm doing is I'm going to take this one up, bend it over, twist. Take this one up, bend it over, twist. Take this one up, bend it over, twist. Take this one up, bend it over. And you keep just doing that. You can go wider or you can go inner. So I'm making it wide, so I'm making the bottom a bit wide. The greener the stalks that you use, actually, the more sap that is in them, and they'll feel more bendy, so to speak. This is a very, very simple corn dolly. It's not one that I don't think I can make the exciting bits and pieces that they put onto them. I'm just making a very plain one. And you get to the bottom, there, and you get to the bottom, see how it makes this lovely pattern? It sort of does it naturally, you don't have to go out and in, you start by going out and it comes in. But that is a corn dolly. I'm just going to tie it off with some more wire at the bottom. You can hear that squawking in the background. That is a baby buzzard who is calling to its parents saying, "Feed me! Feed me! Feed me!" And it's doing it all day long, and it will do for the next 3 weeks. The poor parents, all they can hear is it going, "Wah, wah, call me, feed me, feed me." Anyway, it lives in our woods just here. It stands up and shouts at the parents saying, "Come on, feed me!" Anyway, so this is my corn dolly. I'm going to trim off these bits, these 2 leaves here. I'm going to decorate this with some flowers. I'm going to make a couple more to put on my feast table. If you're missing Ginny Metherell during the week, I will put up my Instagram handle here for you. I do post quite frequently on Instagram. And also have a look at my Patreon account. Our cover meeting's coming up for August, where we will do some grain-orientated rituals, I think. I'm not sure, I haven't written it yet, so we'll have a look. It's really good fun. You learn a lot of witchcraft through the coven, and I'm hoping that our coven will become one of the strongest in the country. That's my plan anyway, so do go and have a look at it.